one.
Who do we have in the house? All I can say is,
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
it's Saturday. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. We're ready to rock and roll here. There's Brent. Brent is in the house.
He must have bust down the door again because he's always in here first.
Hey, so Brent, after I got your message, I sat there and I went through the rehearsals, and in fact, Cam and I were just talking about it. The 74 ones really suck. But, you know, I found some nice gems in the 70s. In fact, the next review I've got 3 of the rehearsals from the 70s because they sound pretty good. But the other ones are, what the hell? Who we got here? There is Dylan. Dylan's in the house. Hey.
Yeah, you getting it, you cracking it down now.
Somewhere on the line.
Man, those bugs are out already.
There's Lori on FTD and MRS collection sounds superior. Yeah, I think, what the heck? That frog won't shut up. That's because it's a minute thing. Freaking things to go. Welcome to the barn.
Top of the morning to you.
I won't shut up either. Who else we got here? There's Kirsty. Hey, Kirsty. Susan in the house. Listen to Sunset Boulevard. It's actually pretty good. I still can't put my finger on what they've done to Elvis's voice on the mixes. They've raised him.
Basically.
Yeah, they've just raised the volume. They've backed off a little bit of the echo on some, reverb on some. Some they haven't. I'm 5 songs in out of 89, and I'm not going to do them all. There's no freaking way. I'm just going to pick and choose out of the reversals. But I'm going to go through every one of the original masters and do the comparison. And then some of the outtakes, it's just like, I said this in my last video. I'm sitting, and it just kind of dawned on me. It's like, okay, wait a second. So this process was supposed to take. They were supposed to take 34 songs and remove all the overdubs. So it'll be a nice warm feeling with Elvis. But the thing is all the outtakes already got the overdubs. They don't have them there. They don't put the overdubs until the final mix.
Yeah.
So you've got all these takes that are just added into the box set that don't have, supposedly, I haven't found any with really any overdubs. All they did was take the tapes and they just kind of slid the sliders and made some differences. I don't know. It just really kind of.
Yeah, I noticed basically what they did was they removed a lot of the compression, and when you remove compression, you open up a little bit more space to put in more details. But they are obviously, when you remove compression, you don't have that much free space that you can work with. Right. So they couldn't really do massive stuff except for maybe, like you said already, pushing up volume basically and adding a little bit of echo here and there. But as to new separations, really, you don't really have that much space when you remove compression.
Yeah, I'll get through all those masters. I didn't do the whole Memphis set. I didn't do the concert. There was no sense of doing. I didn't think there was any sense of doing the concert. The only thing they really did there was raise the volume and slid a few sliders on those, because those aren't usually aren't usually multi-track. Those are usually recorded in 2-track, maybe 4 at the most. Concerts, because it's right to soundboard, and it's just usually a left and a right. Unless they're set up to do an album, then they'll record it with a 16-track or an 8-track.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We'll get through it. It's another, I just call them money grabs.
Yeah, I'm with you on the 74 years. Those to me were, when I was listening to them, I got halfway through and I was like, okay, get on with it now.
Yeah, I was
Because
kind of complaining, not complaining. I was just kind of thinking to myself. I don't know who I was talking to. I'm just like, how do these people get early advanced copies? What do they got to do? Like with the books and all that. I'm sitting here thinking, if they read my reviews, I'll never get a freaking advanced copy. What can I give that guy one? It's like,
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
that's how I was thinking. So everybody ready for a nice trifecta Saturday? We got some book shit today. I got a little video I come across from the Gates of Graceland. This microphone, I got to tweak it. It's picking up every breath I make. Um, I got a video from the Gates of Graceland. For those of you who don't know what the Gates of Graceland is, it's a video series they did on the Graceland site with Angie Marchese and Tom Brown a lot, and they really started that during the COVID period. Because people couldn't go to Graceland, so they were giving them something on their YouTube channel. Really, some cool stories for some of you that were watching it when we did the one that talked about the Ed Sullivan show and when he sang "Peace in the Valley." So I've got a little one. It's about 13 minutes long, but it's an interview with Peter Grolnick from several years ago, and with his book coming out, there's a lot of I have really a lot of mixed feelings about the book coming out. As far as I'm trying to keep my mind open-minded, but I'm listening and looking at some of the other reviews of people who have gotten advanced copies or their thoughts. And so I listened to part of TCB. They have a really good review. So, and then EAP did theirs. And so I'm kind of like, I don't want to sit back and say, well, they're expect, some of the comments from EAP were like, they're really expecting negative stuff. So I don't think they went into it with a really complete open mind. My mind, if you've been following us while we've been doing all these Colonel books, you probably heard me and Cam talking where we were on the fence. We were this side. We thought this is great for Colonel. And next thing you know, he's a reptile slithering across the floor on a slimy trail. That's how we come to it, So, but Gronick's got a lot of backup with documents too. So I'm still excited about getting the book and reviewing it and doing it. But I don't want to spend more than a couple of shows reviewing the book and talking about it. I think it's going to be a great discussion. Today's going to be the last day on any Colonel books before that one. Then we're going to get into preparation for the Queen of Bitch.
Yeah, I purposely haven't watched any of the book reviews done by other channels because I don't want the
We just lose Cam. No, I think we just lost Cam. I think he froze up. Well, he should be back. Hey, Olga. We got Olga on. Good to see you. I know you've been a busy person. Yeah, he just dropped out. He'll be back. I'm going to share some things with you all. On tomorrow, we're going to do a vote on the pictures. I've got 4 to submit. I'd like for some other people to submit some because I kind of picked 4, but I think y'all can probably pick some better ones than I can. And we're going to vote. So I'm going to share with you the arrangement that we're getting, and then we will we'll go from there. We've had some really nice donations. We're still collecting for a little bit longer, so I'll share that with you all. I also need to share with you the arrangement that we are getting for Miss Lisa Marie. And I believe that I have that. Where do I have that? Oh, come on. I might have to figure out where I got that. All right, let me try this. I got a dirty feeling. Well, I'll just go to the website and show you. Yeah, you just kind of like a froze with your, you're kind of in a funky position. Go ahead and talk for a minute. I got to find something here. I forgot to
Yeah,
download one thing. There's
I
a
was
picture. There's a picture I've got of the arrangement where there it is. Okay, cool.
I hope they sorted it because they were working on the internet lines around us today earlier. One of the people nearby came to ask me if my internet was okay, and I was okay at that stage. So they're probably working on the systems. They always tend to do this shit on weekends because they think most people don't work on weekends.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout out. Elvis and Friends. Can I shout out your name or not? Just Elvis and Friends. I'll check it out. He's got some he just started it. You just started it back up, didn't you? Oh, all right. So real quick, let me share this with you so we can get moving on here. I'm going to go over to here. I am going to download this real quick. Export one photo to desktop. Yes. I'm rested, man. I'm so wired for today. I had well, I don't want to get too much into it. I had some tests done last night. And they came here to do some overnight tests with me, so I thought I was going to be awake all night. Dude, they gave me a pill that I would pay $1,000 for every day, man. I take that pill, and I think I was still drinking the water when I fell asleep. Just like, what the heck? It was good. They're just checking what my medication. They were kind of concerned that something might be mixing up. So everything's cool. Okay, so these. All right, everybody. I'm gonna talk about the flowers real quick so that everybody's on board and understands what we're doing. So we're made arrangements to deliver some flowers, have some flowers on August 15th to be delivered there. And I'm going to share with you the arrangements. This one right here is one we're purchased. Were you able to hear me just now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it went to that picture. All right. So next, I want to share this with you. Wherever I put it. Okay. This is, now let me explain this one to you. This is the one that's going to go for Elvis. Now, the flowers are going to be red and white roses all the way around. And the picture will, okay, Finnegan, here you go. I don't want my hand licked all day. There you go. Okay, so we're going to put a picture of Elvis. I got 4 to put up, but I want everybody else to, if they got one that they have in mind, I'd like for you to submit it before tomorrow, or you can even do it tomorrow. I'll put it in the poll tomorrow because we're going to vote, because I need to order it and have it ready to be delivered to Pew's. I love that name for a flower shop. Their mascot is a skunk. It's really cool. So these are red and white flowers.
I
And
just sent you mine.
okay, and then I'm
I
going to have
forgot.
there's going to be a display down here that's going to mention Elvis-A-Z, Elvis for the record, and it's going to list all the people that donated. Now, for those of you who have donated but prefer not to have your name put on there, please email me. I had a list. There was one person that said they prefer to stay anonymous, and I had that list. I put it down in on my notes. I'm a dumbass. I guess I deleted it. So I want to make sure that I don't mention that one person's name. Let me do this. Let me go to the site here, see if I get a better show you a better picture. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you guys. All right, here we go. I am going to share my screen. Share.
You know what would be really cool?
That's the arrangement right there, but those are going to be white and red. They're all roses.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be cool.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what
Yeah.
would be cool though?
Olga's been the one that's been choosing these. I think these if you had me pick flowers, you'd have little dandelions with bees in them. Stupid. So those are the ones I hope y'all like those. I think they're really I can't see the comments right now, so I don't know what everybody's saying. And then let me see here. Any comments here? Pretty, I like that. Cool, beautiful. Okay, so y'all like that. I gotta get my.
You know what would be really cool though?
What's that?
If we took a nice picture of Elvis, right? And we took that main picture and
Ooh,
we superimposed like a collage picture of everyone in the group over that picture of Elvis and put it in the
oh,
center.
yeah, that would be, but that's a lot of work to get done because I got to get this down to them. That's if everybody would want to do that, but
Yeah,
I that might be a little bit of a challenge with the time constraints we have. But I like this picture, Cam. I wish I thought about this one, but good choice. So and let me show you the one that Cam just it's in my downloads. Let me go to downloads. I just downloaded that. I know we're getting off to a I wouldn't say a slow start, but I'm excited about these flowers, as you can probably tell. All right, so this is the one that Cam is suggesting for a picture. Well, we're going to vote on this tomorrow. So if you want to vote on this, you need to join us tomorrow. This is the one that Cam picked. Of course, we'd have to crop it. That's a pretty cool freaking picture. Well, okay, let me show you mine because Elvis and Friends just suggested one of the ones. What's Olga just? Olga say, can't wait to see them, Rex. How do we include it? Yeah, that I am too. That that is so important that we that's Graceland. As far as I'm concerned, Graceland's Elvis and Lisa Marie, and of course Benjamin. It's just I so wish I could travel there anymore.
I don't know. I've always liked that picture. It just says
Yeah, yeah.
it's one of those black and white
That's the
pictures
one
that
they used in
just
the Epic cover, isn't it? Isn't that the
yeah,
one they used on the Epic for the movie coming out, guys? I'm pretty
I think
sure.
so.
Okay, so here, these are the pictures that I kind of picked out. Okay, I'm going to add these, or unless you all think that looks like shit, or that wouldn't fit. I would say, okay, you guys are going to get me for saying something about Elvis.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Sorry. Hey, Finnegan, come on, buddy. I'm trying to. I know you're going to go through a whole box of bones here. I got to cover my hand. My hand's going to be licked with no hair on it anymore. Okay, so that one right there is one of them. This one right here. This one right here. And then, of course, this one that Elvis and Friends suggested too. So these are going to be in the mix. And then we'll have the one that Cam put up there. So if anybody else has got one, email it to me or message it to me or put it to me and send it to me in Discord, because I want to vote on these tomorrow. I got to get this done so I can call down to Kinko's down there, and they're going to print it up for me and have it all ready. For that's who the Pews told me to order it from. So we'll have that. I'm going to create the display for the name and the names and all that. Olga's going to be there a week from Monday. And Olga, I will pluck a rose from the Elvis flower stand and place it. Oh, that is.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm sorry, that kind of got me. That's brilliant, Olga. That's brilliant. Thank you for thinking of that. That really, that's so. Okay, I can't say anymore. Elvis, I had to wrap my arms around Mom and have her drag me across the plane to the other side to get out. You're talking. I'm thinking you're talking about another plane that you were flying. I'm
No.
so stupid.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
You're gonna get that for some of my stupid shit, and then when it's really bad,
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
all right, guys. So, anyways, I'm so excited about doing these flowers. And I'm really.
Oh my soul. There we go again, guys. This guy's dropping out again. I wonder what's cooking now. Ghost in the machine again. That's crazy. Yeah, I noticed that as well, Susan. I only saw the two. I didn't see the third one. What? Chilling in Canada, you giving me news now that Olga hasn't mentioned. Olga, you have a channel? That's crazy. Why don't I know about it? Keeping the information secret, I see, huh? Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Krusty.
I have no idea why I got bumped off. I'm not gonna be happy. There's no freaking way in hell I could have gone to the bathroom that fast. Oh, Jesus. Toilet sound effect when he comes back, Cam. Oh, Kirsty. That's right. I got one for Cam when he goes, and he's not going to like that one.
Throw that one in there.
Yeah. Oh, you think I should throw that in here right now?
Yeah, throw it in.
Oh, I
Throw
don't
it
know.
in there. I'll play with it. Throw it in there.
Don't look so bad, I say. Put on some makeup.
Where'd Cam go? Yeah, right. I'll play it later. Okay, so, anyways, I just hope we're not going to have internet problems today. I don't know why. I'm not using that other camera. Let me check my settings. I don't have. I took off the hardware accelerator, and it's off.
Just close out your Discord, otherwise it's going to be popping in your ears every couple of seconds.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Quit. Okay. All right. So let me catch up with the comments, and we'll just get to some real business. Welcome, chilling. It's good to have Olga here today. Kirsty, we got a good crowd today. This trifecta Saturday, we got a really good inside the studio today too. I
Yeah.
had a freaking phone call come in the middle of it, so you guys are gonna you
Yeah,
guys
and
have to hear.
when
Yeah,
I was previewing that back, I couldn't even hear who she was asking for.
I couldn't make out when she called me who she was asking for. It was really weird. What
Parents
was
are
weird is she was calling in on the Elvis-A-Z Google voice line. I was like,
yeah.
who? I just laugh. I have no idea who you're talking about. All right, so I have a video. And I'm kind of scared. Excuse me to play it because why is that doing? There's something. There's some kind of music. Oh, it's the freaking toilet flush. Why is that still playing? Oh, you know what? It's probably on a cycle. Stupid thing. All right, so what I've got here is a video I mentioned earlier, and I thought with Peter Goralnik and all this, and also too, today is the last day we're covering this book we've been doing for the Colonel. So I've kind of skipped over some of the Hollywood years and jumping in to close it all out because we've covered all that periods of time with the Colonel, and we know I think we've all come to a pretty much a consensus on him with these books because we did 3 books, pieces of 3 books, and the majority one was the James Dickerson one.
Hold
But
up
this,
1 second
yeah,
before you climb in the video. Sorry, we only saw 2 of the photos. We only saw the one that I suggested, and then the other black and white one with him
oh,
smiling. We
you
didn't
didn't
see the
see the
other one.
ones that I did?
No,
Oh, well, yeah, I must have had something. Okay, let me see. Oh, turn that off. Turn that off. Okay, that's. Oh, wait a minute, I'm the wrong one. Okay. All right, so let me add it in here.
yeah, Olga, I bet you counting down the seconds, right? Yeah,
All
that's
right,
also
so this is one of them. Can you see that?
nice.
Okay, so I've got that one, and I've got this one, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, that's also cool.
Because what is this from the Hand in Mind album cover?
Yeah, yes, that's all from
I
his
got
hand in
this
mine.
one. I've always loved
Oh,
that picture,
yeah, that's also cool.
and I like that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
So those are the 4 that I just threw, and I went through and picked in there. And so we're going to submit the one you got in there, and then anybody else is sitting, because we can put as many in there as we want. I could put in the poll as many as I could. Well, I could probably get up to 10, but I don't think we'll have that many submitted. So whoever's got any, just send it to me by message, by Discord, by email, anyway, and I'll have them all ready by tomorrow for the show.
I'd
So
be happy with any one of those actually.
yeah, I would almost would like to. I wish I could kind of do a blend and put the one big one in there, just kind of collage it.
Hmm.
That might be pretty cool. But I put one of the ones with a full face blend and just kind of collage. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Give me your ideas while we're we're doing the show here. Ooh, we got chilling in Canada. I didn't see her. Janet, hello. I'm 25 comments behind. Seacat, Satin. Oh, we got the whole crew. We're trifecting it today. I almost sounds dirty when I'm saying that. You know.
Don't look so bad, I sang. Put on some makeup.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Okay, well I'm ready. All right, so this video. Let's go swap over to here. This is from the Gates of Graceland, Angie Marchese and Tom Brown. Tom Brown's doing the interview with Peter Goralnik. It's about a 10 or 13, I think it's about a 13-minute video. It's really good. And, it was done several years ago. So he's talking about the dual set and some pretty good questions. Um, you know, um, we'll see what happens with his, the book that comes out Monday night, Tuesday morning at midnight. I'm going to be online, I'm going to be ready to pop online and just kind of do a skim through of the book. So anybody that wants to join me, I'll put on a notification.
I'm a little bit relieved now because I previously thought we were the only channel that did polls, but I'm glad to see that Kirsty also does polls.
Hello, Den for you. Good to see you. Look at that, man. We got a nice crowd today. I'm having fun. All right,
Yeah,
so here's the video. I'll pause it now and then. Hopefully, whatever issue we had a little bit ago where we got bumped off, it was just me that got bumped off, right?
yeah.
That time. All right. You got it once. I got it once. Maybe they're satisfied. Maybe it's Matt Ross Spang
Yeah, maybe you heard our review.
for my reviews. Volume good?
Yeah, 100%.
Hi, Elvis fans. Tom Brown here. You've probably seen me during Elvis Week, doing interviews on stage during conversations and at the Insiders Conference, places like that, and also probably just walking around randomly talking to people. But one of the special guests that we've never been able to put with me during Elvis Week, I'm very happy that we finally locked him down here in Nashville at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Peter Guralnick, one of the writers I think that has been most responsible, if not the writer who's been most responsible with separating fact from fiction with your two books, The Last Train to Memphis and Careless Love. And I think those books have dealt with, the Elvis world and all the different aspects of his life. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about today is a year that sometimes gets forgotten. Everybody talks about Elvis 56 and, what happened in 56 to Elvis. But really, I think 1955 is a year that the planes line up on the runway for what's going to be happening in his career. 54, Sun happens, and those recordings happens in 54. And then 55, he starts the year off as just somebody on a bill, like third or fourth, and by the end of the year, he's, the headliner. In looking at the book and in looking at the years of Elvis, what are your feelings about 1955 and how important it is?
Well, it really marked the emergence of Elvis, not on a national stage so much. That happened in '56, but it really permitted him to emerge as much more than just another regional star. For one thing, at the beginning of the year, it put him together with his future manager, Colonel Parker, who saw him early, either in December of '54 or early January. Went to see him at the Hayride, I think, towards the end of the month, towards the end of January, put him on tour with Hank Snow, and by August had essentially taken over his management. And that really was looking towards Bob Neal, had been a great friend to Elvis. He had been a good manager, but he clearly was limited. He had his radio show. He wasn't going to give up his radio show. He was Memphis-centric. And Elvis was looking to a much larger audience. The other thing is that having had That's All Right had been a huge success in the Mid-South, in Texas. That came out in '54. Elvis played the Hayride for the first time, I think, in October of '54, and was a big star by the end of the year on the Hayride, which reached a national audience. But he had never really had he didn't repeat the success. His second two singles didn't repeat the success of That's All Right. And it wasn't until he put out Baby Let's Play House in the summer of '55 that he had something that really began to hit on a wider scale. And that was still rising when Sam Phillips at Sun Records put out I Forgot to Remember to Forget and Mystery Train towards, I can't remember if it was July or August of '55. And that went on to become his first top 10 national hit, and probably precipitate a sale that had been bubbling up for some months, but really put him on the radar of all the record companies, which eventually led to the sale of his contract to RCA.
Yeah, and that's something, you mentioned Bob Neal, his first manager, or first official manager, I guess Scotty,
Scotty had been the official manager also.
Had been there. Elvis outgrew Bob Neal, and And in a way, he was too big for Sam. He was too big for Son, because Sam was Memphis-centric and wanted, success, but it just got to be almost too much at the behest of the other. He was losing focus on other artists that he had on the label.
Well, Sam Phillips had from the time he first opened the Sun Studio in January of 1950, had as broad a vision as you could possibly have. It had to do with essentially reforming American society, of making people open to, what Walt Whitman wrote, I Hear America Singing. Sam heard America singing, and the voices were coming from people who had never been paid any attention to, both black and white. But what he didn't want to do, and the reason he could never have, personality aside, he was not a promoter, he was not a manager, but basically the fundamental reason why he could never have or would never have wanted to be the person to promote Elvis onto the national stage, well, one, he didn't want to be known as a one-artist, producer wasn't really the word, whatever, one-artist man, a one-artist studio, one-artist label.
Yeah, yeah.
And with the money that he got from the sale of Elvis's contract, he was not only to be able to reclaim the company, which was on the brink of bankruptcy, to bring the company into but also he was able to put out Blue Suede Shoes and to promote it, and to have this parade of artists afterwards, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, with whom he had hit after hit coming out of this tiny little storefront location at 706 Union Avenue. So it was a matter both of his sense of his ambitions, of much broader and much bigger ambitions than promoting a single artist, but also the fact that he simply needed to be able to generate enough money to put those plans into action.
How did, you mentioned it briefly, that at the beginning of the year in '55, Colonel Parker sees Elvis at the hayride, and by the end of the year is the one sitting in the booth talking with Sam about, signing the paperwork to get Elvis to RCA. Talk a little bit about what happened and how Colonel was able to come into Elvis's life. I know he got close with Vernon and Gladys, I believe.
Well, he really courted Vernon and Gladys. He also he had from the beginning a kind of private communication with Elvis. Elvis was a person of great loyalty, but also a person of enormous personal ambition. Elvis did not limit his ambition, and he couldn't have defined what it was. He couldn't have said, this is exactly where I want to go. But in speaking to the Colonel, and in becoming acquainted with what Colonel had done, not just with Hank Snow, whom he was out there with. The Colonel had only been working with Hank Snow for maybe 6 months at this point, but with Eddy Arnold, whose career really gave all the signposts for what Elvis's career would become. I think that the most important person that Colonel had to convince was Elvis, and Elvis was convinced over the course of 6 months or 8 months, I think very quickly he was convinced that this was the way he would have of realizing his greatest ambitions, of reaching not just a local audience, not just a regional audience, and perhaps not even just a national audience, but a world audience, which would have been impossible to have voiced at that time. But Colonel was very canny in the way he approached it, and so he got Hank Snow, I think, to speak to Elvis's parents, Vernon and Gladys. He got a friend of his, the Duke of Paducah, whose real name was Whitey Ford, a country comedian, and I believe that he, spoke with Vernon and Gladys. Vernon appears to have been more won over than Gladys, but Gladys was somebody who was very fearful for her son, for her only child, and I think that's a natural, was a natural thing. The last people that Colonel had to persuade was RCA. Were the record companies, and he set up a kind of bidding for Elvis before Elvis's contract was ever for sale. And when Sam Phillips confronted him about it, he says, "No, I didn't have anything to do with that." Ultimately, he wanted Elvis on RCA, where he had all of his contacts, where Hank Snow was on RCA, but he had worked with RCA for 10 years with Eddy Arnold, who was probably the biggest superstar that has ever existed in country music. Even more than Garth Brooks, if you take into account the parameters of the time. And when Sam Phillips said, "I want $35,000 plus $5,000 for to cover his back royalties. I think that really set Colonel, it set him back. Nobody had ever paid that kind of money.
I was going to say, that's an extraordinary amount of money.
I think the most that had ever been paid for a pop star was $25,000. Was it for Frankie Lane, maybe? But in any case,
sure. Yeah, I know it was. I believe the record was $25,000.
Yeah, Colonel was, if nothing else, was a realist, and he put down $5,000 as an earnest to hold this offer.
Banjo Paul was in the house.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And then had to go to New York and sell RCA, and it was a very hard sell. And eventually, he got the money. He would have lost his own money, his own $5,000, had he not gotten that. And by the middle of November, he had a commitment from RCA, and that was really a week later. They all met at the Sun Studio, and Elvis became an RCA artist.
It's so difficult now to look back, and because we look back with history, we know what happens. We know what happens in 56, we know what happens in 66, we know what happens in 7. But at the time, in 1955, going day to day and going forward, there was no guarantee that this flash-in-the-pan Memphis artist that was only on Sun was going to last through the summer. But those shows that he was doing at the Louisiana Hayride, and really the touring he was doing at the time with Scotty and Bill, and I think DJ gets added in 55.
He got added in.
I think about this. This just kind of gave me a thought about what they're saying. When he said he was a flash, they looked at him as a flash in the pan. And I'm sure that was the perception of just about everybody until they met him. And I think that's what changed the opinion of everybody is when he stepped in the room. Because remember, what everybody says about Elvis, and that goes all the way back to even before he became famous, that there was an electricity when he walked in the room. They knew he was there without even looking. So, take away all the screaming and all the preachers, the DJ's going to bust all the records and he's the devil and all that. You look at Brewster and look at Ed Sullivan, and the only one I take out of the picture is that dickhead Steve Allen. Excuse my language. He was just a jealous. He was just a jealous jerk. But the second you put him in the room with like RCA executives, and they talked to him for 10 minutes, they knew immediately there's more to this guy than just some guy standing there shaking his hips. There's something here.
There's substance and there's brains there.
Yeah.
I think August of 54, then he got sick but came back.
Yeah. But that's really the expertise is being learned on the road at these little shows. And there's a little show also in 1955 that gets forgotten, and that is Elvis coming back to Tupelo on a bill, I think, with Webb Pierce and some other artists, that he comes back and plays his hometown.
He did, and although it was the following year
that was the big show.
That was the big show, the following 2 years, but 56 when he dedicated a good portion of the proceeds to build a park, I think, to build the kids. Right. But yeah, in 55 he was also there. But don't forget that his record, I forgot to remember to forget, was really rising all through the fall of 55, made the top 10. He was named the outstanding new country and western artist, or maybe just at the DJ convention in November. So all of this was coming together at the same time, and he was on the rise for sure, in a way that had never happened before, and he was becoming an extremely prominent country artist. I mean, rock and roll as a market didn't quite exist. You'd had Chuck Berry, you'd had Little Richard, you'd had records that had come out, and I'm sure Alan Freed had named it by then, but the point was it didn't exist as a full-scale market at that point, and it was more natural for someone like Elvis to be in the country and folk division. But one of the things that was remarkable was that in the contract with RCA, Colonel had inserted the clause that RCA would be an active promoter.
No.
Well, I got rid of all mine today. I shaved it all off. I have no snacks. Maybe a few little whiskers.
of Elvis making national television appearances in order to promote his records. As it turned out, RCA didn't lift a finger to do that, and nor did William Morris, who had been Colonel was not only close to Abe Lastfogel, who ran William Morris. He would come to have offices at William Morris, but Harry, I can't remember Harry's last name, who ran the New York office, didn't do a thing, and it was Colonel who got Elvis his 6 appearances on the Dorsey Brothers stage show, the Jackie Gleason produced stage show, and he wrote to this guy at William Morris. He said, you know, if I had to depend on the kind of effort you've put into this, I'd be back to selling apples on a street corner. But this again was part of a vision that both he and Elvis had of really entering the world stage, not confining themselves to the way things had been done, but to finding a new way to reach literally millions of people at a single time.
Here we are 60 years later, 60th anniversary of 1955 and the changes that were happening in Elvis's career. Thank you so much, Peter Guralnick, for talking about that year that I said I sometimes think gets forgotten a little bit. So this year we're all going to be talking about 1955. And thanks so much for joining us here at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Nashville.
Thanks.
And I look forward to talking to you later about some other things. Thanks,
Great.
Peter.
Well, thank you.
Nice little interview. Cool pictures. I mean, they don't when he does these interviews like that. You usually don't get that. You usually just see him sit there and talk. You know.
Talk about your videos real quick that you put up yesterday, because Susan had a question there for you with regard to the new set.
What's that now?
Susan wants to know if she should purchase the new set.
Well, that's kind. You know, I'm trying to avoid saying yes or no, and the reason why I'm doing the what I'm doing is it gives everybody a chance to really hear the differences between the original and what they've done. And I give my feedback about some stuff. Now, my next video's got some nice little gems in it that I'm really happy about from the rehearsals, from the 1970 rehearsals. Plus, I'm doing the Burning Love master, not the outtake like I did on the first video. So I'm a little brutal on it. I'm going from the aspect because I look at it this way. For those who haven't seen my videos yet, I've done 2 of them right now in 5 songs. I'm not going to do the whole box set, but I'm featuring some. And if I find some of the ones that are completed the way it was described to be complete, I'm definitely going to highlight those. I'm being brutally honest about things from my perspective of what I see as a musician and as somebody who's worked in the studios. Now, the description of purchasing this stated that there were going to be 34 that were newly mixed and overdubs removed, and you could be more personal with Elvis's, voice. So I'm looking for those 34 out of 89, and but I compare them. If you watched my Memphis reviews, I'm doing pretty much the same thing, and I'm breaking it down so you could hear it as it plays, the differences, and because I've watched reviews in the past and before I did YouTube, and people would sit there and they'd talk, yeah, this is great, you'll like this and you'll like that, and they'll play a little bit of a song and they'll play another little bit of a song, but I can't tell the difference when they're just playing that compared to what it was before. You go buy a car, you want to test drive it, you want to feel it, you want to, you buy a new piece of furniture, you sit on it, you feel it, you buy a new bed, anything you buy, you take a look at it and you check it out, see if you like it. That shouldn't be any different than when you're buying a package like this. So I try to present that where you hear it with your ears. That's the thing that that you want. Touching it and feeling it, that gets a little freaky and kinky there, but but I want, that's just my goal, is to give you the opportunity to actually hear the differences, and people make their own judgments. And I respect everybody that comes back and says, "Yeah, I like the set," and that's fine. The one caution that I do say is this: if you're going to buy this box set and never ever listen to it with headphones, I think you're cheating yourself.
You're losing out.
You've got to listen to it with headphones, because it's not, you'll be able to tell the difference somewhat if you're driving in the car and you're playing it, because you got the speakers right there, and you'll be able to tell some of the difference of the cleanliness of the CDs by putting it in your system at home. But to hear what they've done, you've got to wear earphones. So, I get a little critical of people who sit there and say, this is, I liked it. I don't say critical of them, because, they're giving their opinion of what they thought of it. And you got to trust that person to say, okay, he likes it, I'm probably going to like it. But I don't do that. Even no matter how much I like the who's doing it, I don't like doing that. I want to hear it. I want to feel it. Now, I had to buy it in order to do that, but I'm the person that wants to present that to you. I want to give you the test drive, and that's what I'm doing with these things. So I can't tell you whether to buy it or not. All I can do is tell you that when I'm done with this, I'll tell you whether I would buy it or not, what I would do. That's all I can.
My opinion on it is this. Certain aspects are better. Other aspects are, in my opinion, exactly the same as previous releases. Um, did I get what I was expecting from it? No. A lot more hype was made about it. And Kirsty made a good point earlier when she said, uh, in my opinion, too, I agree with Kirsty when she said that producers nowadays don't know the meaning of the word undubbed. And
Well,
in that sense, did I get what I was expecting based on the reviews that I was reading and the expectations that were created regarding the set? Did I get what I expected? No. Is it absolutely terrible?
no.
No. To agree with Rick, uh, yes. Certain instances, like the 70s rehearsals, that's part of the set, they came out really good for me.
Yeah,
I enjoyed those.
I'm really liking those.
I'm really, and then the first two CDs, a lot of those songs you're hearing new separations, you're hearing clearer audio. So yes, in that aspect, I would say yes, I'm leaning to slightly more impressed than unimpressed, but it's very close. It's like
Yeah,
50,
I like what
50,
they've done with them. As far as with the masters, I like what
yeah,
they've done with them as far as the separation, but they're falling short of what they promised.
yes,
What they promised are the overdubs out.
yes,
And if you listen to Always on My Mind,
yeah, that's
the one
overdubbed.
that's supposed to be with no overdubs, you've got the cellos, you got the violins all playing, and the one that's supposed to be all gone. Those are
Mm,
overdubs. You know, taking reverb off of them is not an overdub. That's an effect that's done in
mm,
the studio and all that. They don't go back and add, well, they do it on a remix, but that's not an overdub. Um, but the one thing I always say in the advertisements, they say they're called newly mixed, which is the
mm,
same thing as remastered. When they say remixed, it's really convoluted here. And
mm,
I say this every time I do this. When they say remixed, that means that they came in. I'll give you an example and you'll explain it. The Philharmonic productions of the CDs that they did with Elvis songs, where they brought the Philharmonic in, who wasn't there. Probably half of the band wasn't even born when the song was
mm,
recorded, and they add
mm,
all this orchestra stuff. That's remixed, and I don't like
mm.
that because it's
No.
not true to Elvis. Now, I'd like remix songs and all that, like what they did in Boz is, in the movies. And I like the remixes because it's usually other artists or they just kind of put a feel to it. I can get into those, But when they give you this product of Elvis and they come in and throw a guitar there and it goes there, it's all the same song, but they throw somebody else in there just to kind of make it meatier. And it may be hard to explain that, but that is remixing. Newly mixing and remastering is going in and saying, okay, I'm going to take the original song, and everybody that was there to record it, they're all on there. They're everywhere, even though they may have taken one guitar player. Maybe they took an acoustic guitar player and didn't put it on the original. They just slid the slider and muted them out. But they go back, and when they remaster, they go there and say, hey, man, you know what? Sounds pretty good with the acoustic there. So I'm going to slide it back up and add that acoustic and put it over to the left side or the right side. And I think we just lost Cam. So that's the difference in those. And that's just kind of a warning shot to me. This was supposed to be newly mixed. And so far, I've heard nothing where they've added in new people. Oh, you just shut your camera off for a second? Oh,
No,
oh wow.
I dipped out again.
Anyway, so all I want you is, some of you are waiting until I get through some more of my reviews, and that's totally up to you. I'm not going to say to anybody you should buy this. I'm going to tell you what I think of the songs and what I think I've seen so far. You make the judgment, but you got to make that judgment based upon what you're hearing. And don't make that judgment without hearing it through headphones, because that's where you're going to really know it. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I like what they did with the masters. If it wasn't, other than the fact that, don't tell me you're taking the dubs out, the overdubs out, and you don't do it. But I do like the way they remastered them. So it's kind of a catch-22. I got a nice, cool version of it, but I didn't get what I was looking for. And you know what the thing is what drives me batty about this? They know what they're doing, and they know that the large percentage of people that buy this stuff are buying it because it's a new package of Elvis, and that's fine. If you love it and all that, I'm happy. That's great. I'm not going to tell anybody not to buy it. I'm not going to tell anybody, oh, you shouldn't like that. You're ridiculous. I'll never tell anybody that. We've all got different opinions. People love Taylor Swift. I can't stand her. That's just an opinion. And, but you know what? More power. I say more power to her, because she's a billionaire. And that's all part of it, capitalism. And you know what? She does a lot for charity. She does a lot for people. I won't never falter on that. So it's the same thing with all these packages. I buy them. I only started buying them when I started this channel, because I never bought them before. I just started collecting them and getting them after I started this channel, because I thought, well, you know what? I can provide a service to everybody and give them my expert opinion. And that's what my therapist actually told me to do when he said that I should do this channel. Give them your opinion. And I knew how to do it by breaking it down. I think it's cool. I got fun breaking it down too. It's cool what I do.
I think to agree with you. I think to agree with you in that aspect, in terms of when they sitting behind the desks and they reworking this material, they forget that there will be possibilities that professional people that did or do what they are doing at the time are possibly going to buy these sets also, and they're going to listen to those sets with the same ears and with the same qualifications that they do. And I think they tend to forget that that's a possibility. That's why they say things like they're going to remove the overdubs and that kind of thing, because unfortunately the mindset is it might not be said or it might not be spoken, but the majority mindset is, well, most people that are going to buy these sets don't really know what remastering and remixing means and removing overdubs means. So we can leave an overdub in here or an overdub in there, or remix this or remix that, they're not going to know the difference.
The one thing in one aspect, I feel kind of bad when I do give my a negative opinion about something, because I feel like, well, if I make it to where somebody doesn't buy it, then all I'm doing is affecting the profits that eventually a percentage goes to Riley and the family. But I also got to look at the aspect of the fans and who's not being, given the full details about things. And that's just, I said something earlier today. Or the other day, I said, I don't know how some of these people get early advances of these. I need to start looking at it because I do reviews. And I said, but if they watch my reviews, they'll never give me an advance copy. I'm not going to give it this guy. He beats us up. Real quick, there was a comment here just a minute ago by somebody. Let me find out who it was. Tracy. Yeah, she said that I listened to that podcast too, and I liked the podcast that they did. I can't. Well, let me back up. I've heard about 2/3 of it. I didn't get a chance to finish it off because of getting ready for today. And I like them. I like the way they did the review, and I'm gonna approach the book the same way, with an open mind. I just don't want people to do, and I don't think TCB Cast did this. I think EAP did this, but I don't think they did that. I think EAP went in there with a negative attitude to review the book. But that's just my opinion. They did get the book, they read it, and that was their opinion, and I respect what they do. But don't start up front by saying, I was expecting negative stuff. It was almost like they wanted that. I don't want negative stuff, but if it's there, I trust Gronick to do it. If he says, I don't know, I got to wait till I read the book. That's all I got to say about that. I learn a lot from other people's reviews, but like with the book, that's one thing where you can't give it. You can just kind of review and show highlights, but you can't give them a test drive on it. You just got to trust their opinion. With the CDs, I can give you that test drive on the majority of it by doing what I'm doing, so you can hear it. And that's what I enjoy that. I enjoy that thoroughly, just like I enjoy discussing these books.
The long and the short of it is it on par with the Elvis in Memphis box set? Hell no. It's way better. But at the end of the day, it's like Susan said, it's personal preference. It's some people gonna like it, some people not gonna really hear much change. But it's like Susan said, it's a personal thing. You have to listen to it. You have to listen to it and decide, okay, what differences are you actually looking for? And did you get those differences, yes or no? And that's going to determine whether you buy it or not.
No.
Buy it or not.
I'm looking for what they promised. That's all I wanted, was what they promised. They didn't give us so far. They haven't given me what they promised. That's all. So that's all I'm saying so far. That may change all down the line, but it's always going to be, there's a percentage so far that I found that are, that's not going to change. They're going to be, I'm not going to like them because they didn't remove the overdubs. But we may find them. There's 34 songs out there with the overdubs removed. So I know it's not going to be in the rehearsals. I know it's not going to be in the outtakes, because outtakes already have no overdubs. They don't put the overdubs on until the final master. So there's no songs on disc 3. No, I'm sorry, disc 2 that are going to have the removed. There's none going to be on 3 and 4 that are going to have them removed. And what's on 5?
5 is a continuation of 1674 rehearsal.
Okay, so let me see. So I've got, on disc 1, there's 17 songs of the original that they could remove the overdubs on. On disc 5 are rehearsals. There's no overdubs on the rehearsals. There's no overdubs on 3 or 4. 2 are the outtakes. So there's only 17 songs that they can really do anything with overdubs. So I'm confused now.
Yeah, now that to me doesn't add up.
Because all the rehearsals were never released as a official album or
No.
official. They were just, and outtakes were never released as a original. So I'm really freaking confused. Where are
Yeah.
the overdubs coming from? Did they do them twice on the first 17? Anyway, I said enough. Now I'm getting confused. I just need to finish the masters first after I do these ones that I got ready. I'm gonna go right down the line with the masters, and I've already done Always on My Mind on the master. What the hell did I do on my last one?
3 Billy, you did too. But
No, that was the outtake.
that was
the
the
outtake.
outtake.
Oh, I did Fairy Tale, Always on My Mind, in separate ways. Those were all originals, and none of them were overdubs removed. They just separated them a little bit more, made it a little bit louder, pulled Elvis's voice out a little bit more, but the overdubs are still there. You could hear the cellos and the strings just going full blast on Always on My Mind. But I like they sound great.
They sound good though.
Well, I got a
but
good product. It's just not what I was looking for. But I've only done 5 songs, so I'm not going to pass judgment on the whole thing. Anyways, I think we talked enough about that. We're going to run everybody out of here on this one. What the hell are you talking about, man? But, the book is that book. So we're going to finish this book off here. Kind of going to flip through it, pick out highlights. And it's just towards the end. It goes all up to the point, I believe it gets to the point of Parker's passing in 87, was it? What year did he pass? 87 or was it 97? 87.
No, it was
97. Yeah.
97.
Yeah, because it was like 20 years after. Wasn't it? I can't remember. Somebody tell me out there.
97.
All right, so on this book, let me move this down here. How do I have 2 different things of pictures? Oh, I got that one, and I got 2 slides. To find that. I still have the effect of that pill that the doctors gave me last night. What the hell? I swear to God, I swear to God, I woke up with the water still in my cup of water still in my hand after I took the pill. It's quicker it was quicker than anesthetics and anesthesia. Then you go to the hospital. Count down from 10. I think I made it to 9.
My goodness.
10. All right, so we're on Curious, okay? The James Dickerson book. And I'm going to, where's the thing? Oh, yeah, right here. So I'm going to pay attention to the comments on my right side here. But so, Cam, if you could just throw up on the front if there's a comment to be noticed, because I'm on the big screen so I can read this stuff.
Okay.
And why is this? Okay. Okay, now my book's gone.
Da-dum. 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 Da-dum.
All right, Jaws. All right. So we're at the point of Vegas here. It's kind of interesting. It kind of reviews what we've talked about before with other things that we've I don't know if this is gonna let me do it or not, but if it pops out, I'm gonna be happy. So after the success of the NBC television special, Elvis was preparing to record a new album. We've talked about that. That's American Sound and all that. Scotty and them weren't involved. He talked about Scotty more about recording in his studio. They were in the discussions of where he was going to record, and he didn't want to go to Nashville. And that's, I think, and of course, the story is what happened is Marty Lacker, who knew Chip's moment and was actually working with him, went to Elvis, and he talked to Elvis about recording his next album right there in Memphis at the American Recording Studio with Chips, a very tiny, small studio, and very cramped. But I tell you what, those are the best places, man. What the sound that they got out of there. Bedtime, is it bedtime, Banjo? What time? Jesus, where are you at? You in Japan? So Chips was really putting out some really top 10 hits, some really big ones. Neil Diamond was recording there. Dusty Springfield recorded "Son of a Preacher Man" there. A lot of good stuff coming out of that. But now one song that was recorded in Memphis. Wait a minute, what? Yeah, none of this. This is surprising. Oh, wait, what are we talking about? 69? Not one of the songs that Elvis ever did in Memphis, well, that would only be Sun Records. Where else would he have recorded in Memphis up until 1969? Anyways, none of them ever hit number one. Well, Sun Records was before he even went to, RCA, so those were never really nationally marketed. But like what's his name? Peter Gronick said, I forgot to remember forget was really going up the charts and starting to go up the charts nationally. With the AP Society podcast, I don't always agree with them, but that's something they mention is that we should have our own option. The narrative of that is to preserve Elvis's history in its true form. I agree with that. That's why I don't like remixes, and I did not like the Philharmonic albums. It was not. That's my opinion, but it didn't. It wasn't an Elvis style. He didn't even have orchestras. He didn't even have songs when he played live that sounded like what he did. His songs turned into like they were productions for a big theatrical release. Something you would see at the beginning of Star Wars. Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones coming around the corner.
So some of those songs to me sounded like somebody gave them to Frank Sinatra and said, "Okay, you guys play them. We're going to drop Elvis's voice in over this."
And I understand that. Yeah, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong, you guys out there. But supposedly Priscilla was the driving force in getting that done, and she had some monetary, connections with that. And I remember an interview with her one time saying, "Oh, Elvis would have loved." I don't think Elvis would have liked this outcome. He wasn't Tony Bennett.
Yeah, that's even closer to what I was saying earlier.
I liked RPO. Remind me what RPO is. I forgot a rocket propelled onion. I'm stupid.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Where the hell did that come from? Rocket propelled onion.
I don't know. RPO. I was trying to figure the words out. I didn't like the duets that they did too. Yeah, I thought about that too. Can you imagine if he had actually gone in the studio and done some duets with a few people? You've got the ones he did with Anne Margaret. You got didn't he do one with Nancy Sinatra? Which,
RPO, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
oh, thank you. Oh, duh, I just got through talking about them. So they're not a rocket.
Wait.
They're not
No. Rocket propelled onions.
Got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Oh
I
God!
need some of those. I need some of those medications, dude. You gotta send me some of those.
Oh, you make it sound like I just feel good, you know. I actually
That's
feel like I
good.
got some really good rest last night. Just a side note, they were concerned about my medication. My blood pressure was getting a little high, and they thought there was an interaction with my meds, and it turned out to be that way because they'd given me a new prescription, and so they came in to monitor me. I have in-home care, and they came in to monitor me, and I had freaking blood pressure things on me all night. And I said, "Are you going to put an IV in me?" He go, "No, no." But then they come over and stick a needle in me, take blood. I go, "Thank you. I'd rather have the IV." Um, but you know, so like around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock last night, they said you need to get some sleep so we can see how your heart rate goes while you're asleep. They were laughing when I woke up, when they woke me up this morning. So she comes in there and she gives me a liquid. It was a liquid medication, and I got a glass of water because the taste was horrible. So I drank the stuff, and I went to take my glass. And I pulled it back, set it down on the counter. Next thing I remember is waking up and seeing my hand still holding that glass 6 hours later, and I'm a restless sleeper. She goes, "We had to keep checking to see if you were alive." So your feet didn't even move.
Jeez.
Kirsty Marie, Kirsty, I don't know why he said the whole name. Priscilla said in an interview, Elvis always,
Yeah, I agree, Costi. 100%.
Angela
I
Paul,
agree.
this is what you're dreaming about. Best to avoid cheese before. Only Banjo Paul could come up with that stuff. All right, guys. Hey, I've only gotten one page here done so far. That's the thing I like about this is we can start off with one subject. In about 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about what happened on Andy Griffiths the other day.
Stay away from the cheese and beans.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a little disastrous. No, I'm not going to play that sound effect. That thing's the most disgusting sound effect. Okay, so Diskin and Beinstock. Beinstock was one of the songwriters. Relayed the message to the colonel that Moman had the colonel over a barrel. If he raised a big stink about the session, Elvis would find out that the colonel was strong-arming publishers and songwriters into giving up their rights, something he felt the colonel would just as soon not do. If the colonel had pushed the issue and Moman carried out his threat to walk, that would have been an acceptable loss for him to take. He had other artists lined up for sessions. He would just call out, who's next? Because they kicked Neil Diamond out of, well, I shouldn't say kicked. They told Neil Diamond, you're going to have to reschedule. And that would have been, that's 69. That would have probably been around like the Moods album or something like that. Neil Diamond was just becoming pretty big at the time. Because he had just done Sweet Caroline, because I was saying that in 70. So he had already had a good pocket full of hits right there. And he was recording in Nashville. These people were going to Moments, I don't know why they want to have it shut down. Maybe they just had a problem with controlling their finances. Kirsty Marie, chips, cheese, and beans. Oh God. Chips, Moman, and Mr. Bean all in the same spot. Magic. All right, so somehow Elvis got word of what was going on. He went to Moman and asked him how they could resolve it. Moman was blunt. The colonel's people, the publishers, would have to leave the studio, and Elvis said it's done. And that's when Elvis kicked them out, and Elvis and Moman threatened too. They need to get the Memphis Mafia out there and everybody else, because he was going to just tell Elvis to walk, because those guys were in the fucking way. And then Felton only really worked. So I was reading on this yesterday because I heard something in one of the sessions we did. So Felton was kicked out of the control room. He was at the studio, so I was half right and half wrong. So you'll hear them say something to Felton, and Felton would throw his word in there, but Chips would always tell him, "Shut up. You're out of this," because Felton would put his 2 cents worth in there. But Felton was not allowed to step into the control room. You can't have two producers, two engineers in the control room at the same time, not with their clout. That'd be like sticking. I don't even know. I don't know, sticking me and my ex-mother-in-law in the same room. Kill her. She's dead anyway, so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. So anyway, that's what happened with that. And Felton, I'm sure, because Felton kept reporting, was reporting to RCA about when are we going to get these, takes, because that's what happened is once Elvis did all the takes and recorded everything, those tapes went to RCA for the overdubs. And guess who had the overdubs? Mr. Overdub himself. So it was half and half. Moment started. I'm just telling you what I've read. I could still probably be more than likely I'm wrong, because Felton was not allowed in the control room, and I know that with the backup girls, those were the Holiday girls, and those were through Moment. So Moment controlled all the backup girl. Anyway, we're kind of getting far-fetched here. Chips Moment and Steve Bender were the only two people to ever get the best of the Colonel in a deal. Bender did it by out-finessing him over the specifics of the television special, and then just freaking 6 months later, Moment did it by out-bluffing him. A gambler's move, straight and simple. The American sessions ended up being the best of Elvis' career since his early work at Sam Phillips Studio. I think it's the best work, period. From that session came Suspicious Minds, Kentucky Rain, Gentle on My Mind, Any Day Now, and In the Ghetto. And unfortunately, only one #1 hit, but he had a lot of top 10 hits out of it. So the first time in Elvis' career, he had a producer who pushed him. And you could hear it in the studio in Elvis' response. You could tell Elvis was enjoying doing those songs, being in that studio. For the first time in Elvis' career, he had a producer who pushed him. Most of the tracks were pre-recorded at Moment's 827 Street, so that when Elvis arrived in the studio, Moment's energies went into working with the singer on his vocals. When we went in, he was either on or off, says Moment. If he was off, it was better to do it another day. A lot of people don't understand how I could get him to do so many takes. Yeah, he did. Like Suspicious Minds had like, holy Jesus. A lot of them were, just false starts, but I would have him sing a song 20 or 30 times over and over again. But you could hear Elvis saying, whenever Moment say, you got another one in you? And he'd go, yeah. And you never heard, what we listened to, you never hear his voice falter. And then look at the ones that he did in one take in those sessions. What's that? When I hold you in my heart till I can hold you in my arms. That was one take, and him on the piano. Priscilla had never seen him so excited about a session. Okay. Often he took sets of the day's work back to Graceland to play for her. Not invited to the sessions were Scotty Moore, DJ Fontana, and the Jordanaires. The first Scotty learned of the session was reading it in the newspaper. Right down the street from him.
Yeah.
But you know what? It wasn't. I don't. Those songs weren't Scotty's style. He's Scotty was the rockabilly, the movie soundtracks. Same thing with the Jordanaires. He didn't use backups like that anymore. JD Sumner and the Stamps, when they would record, it wasn't like the way the Jordanaires did. It was just a different feel.
Different energy completely.
After Elvis told Colonel Parker that he didn't want to do any more movies, and no one at MGM or Paramount he begged him to change his mind. Ticket sales to his movies had dropped drastically during those socially conscious 1960s. He went to Vegas to find out what kind of deal he could get, and he left with a contract from the International Hotel. Banjo Paul never complained either, from what I've heard. No, he didn't. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the sessions and you get a hold of them, we've been covering all the sessions in chronological order. What were the ones we just did yesterday or Thursday?
Thursday was, they were good ones. Power of My Love was one of them.
We did four songs.
Yes, then we did one from the 50s.
Yeah, we did I Don't Care If the Sun Don't Shine. And
Yes.
we did I Want to Be Free from Jailhouse Rock. And we did the acapella on that, and The Power of My Love, and After Loving You was the other one.
Yes.
Good songs, really was. Yeah, the overdubs, when you take the overdubs of Suspicious Minds, it's a really good sound. I mean, I like the way they mixed it, but it's kind of cool when they just kind of soften it up and have Elvis stand out more, because that was the one that Felton backed Elvis. Elvis got really pissed because Felton had taken the tapes out to RCA and he pushed Elvis's voice out front more. And he got pissed because he was drowning out the good work that Moment had done with the guys, Reggie Young and all of them guys, Chrisman and Bobby Wood, The International's official opening was set for July 1st. Shufi thought Elvis would be perfect to launch the hotel, but the Colonel Parker didn't agree and argued against it. Elvis had put on so much weight and needed more time to get in shape. Shufi, I've seen the pictures of Elvis in '69 in the studios. Okay, how could he? 69, 60. That doesn't make sense. If Colonel's concerned about the weight he put on, it sounds to me like an excuse. Because look at him in '68, right? He was in tipped. I mean, that's one of the thinnest I've ever seen him. Okay, and then in '69, there's pictures of him in the studios, and it looks good. And then Change of Habit, made in '69, just a few months before the International Hotel. And look how good a shape he is then. He put on too much weight. Geez, maybe he was weighing himself. I don't know. What the hell? That's kind of a stupid remark. Anyway, Shufi asked the Colonel what he thought about Barbra Streisand appearing the month before Elvis. Colonel Parker liked the idea. Let the girl go first, he said. And, the real reason the Colonel didn't want him to open it up is because, and, coming from the hotel industry, you always got problems. And that's the biggest showroom in the city. And you've got a state-of-the-art sound system. You got state-of-the-art equipment. The stage isn't even completely done because those stage lights that they put in the front, those weren't even installed yet when Barbra Streisand was there and when Elvis was there. They had to put plastic over the front, over the top of those, or plywood, so that Elvis wouldn't fall into the hole, or Barbra Streisand.
Here's for Banjo Paul.
Oh, lovely. He got it there. There you go, Den, for you. So as Elvis went on a diet and worked out the month before his Vegas engagement and made life around Graceland thoroughly disagreeable with an unending barrage of temper tantrums, Colonel Parker camped out in Las Vegas, where he proceeded to work the town as he had done countless other during his stint with Royal American. He put up thousands of posters attaching to light poles and buildings and taxis. When I saw him in '72, you get to once you get to the parking lot, and the sign out front where it says Elvis and all that. You got that, and then every light pole in the parking lot had signs on it. Then you walk inside the casino, right in the front, and it's just plastered. I mean, everywhere. All the people were wearing the Elvis hats, and it looked like a carnival. It really did.
Wow.
Which, that's what he came from. When Elvis arrived in Vegas a week before his opening to rehearse, he was greeted by over 6,000 telegrams that had been sent from all over the world. Also there to greet him was Frank Sinatra and his daughter Nancy, who, after scoring a #1 hit with These Boots Are Made for Walking, had come a long way professionally since she had greeted him in New York. The Colonel's workings of getting him into Vegas. Elvis flung himself into his material the way new wave artists would later fling themselves into their audiences. He sang with abandon, doing a mix of old and new songs, including the current hit In the Ghetto. It was exactly what they had come to hear and see, wrote the Associated Press reporter. All the gyrations remembered from Presley's 56 launching of rock and roll out of himself were there. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword here with Vegas. Because, you got that one video, you see the comments from 50 Cent, from that one movie, Elvis, what's the one, It Will Never Die, the legend will never die. Anyways,
I think
it talks about the racism and all that, and it also talks about anyway, 50 Cent talks about how Vegas is today. And I don't know when that thing was recorded, when he recorded that. But Vegas is the way it is today with the showrooms, all because Elvis changed the whole thing with the residencies. Everybody wanted to started doing residencies. Before it was just like a 1 to 2 week bookings. And then, but Elvis coming there, he had the whole freaking suite up at top. So he was, he basically just lived there for a month. Parker wound up living there till he died between there and. Sorry, I gotta get a drink. I'm gonna jump through some of these. I gotta put this down. See where we're at. 32. Sorry, guys. I want to catch up on some of the comments. I'm way, way behind. We're talking about belching. All right, let me get my book out here. There's a couple of things that we got coming up. And I think I want to kind of just talk about that. Because we've really covered what the rest of this book does. I'm going to go to a couple of highlights here. Because, we've been talking about the Colonel for freaking, 2 months now? On Saturday. This is episode 8 of our book chats. So we've been talking about Saturdays. We've covered all kinds of areas of the guy. And I'd kind of like to hear from everybody that's been a part of this before we get Gronick's book on before. When we first started this, kind of gauge how you felt about Parker's. Like if you're looking like at a fuel gauge. If you're right up middle, you're kind of like on the fence. He did good, and he did bad. And that's how I was when I started this. And I think Cam was a little bit more on the negative side at first, but our gauges kind of went empty, and it just kind of went back and forth. And so by the time I got through, my gauge was like 3/4 full of hate. To the hate side. Dislike side. I was really disgusted and disappointed in a lot of the stuff that was mentioned and talked about. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. And my argument all along, And the reason for doing this is to prepare myself for Gronik's book, which I think he's the premier biographer of Elvis, biographer of Elvis. But I'm also hearing a lot of, comments about the book. So now I'm kind of, I'm not changing anything I'm going to do is about the book, because I think it's important that we finish this off as a team, as part of this group, of what he has to say, and then we can have a discussion. But the thing about Parker, and same thing with Priscilla, but the thing about Parker right now is there's such a negative connotation about him, or a view of him from Elvis's fans, that I don't think he stands a chance to have any positive comments, true or not. And so anybody like Gronik that writes a book that he's been working on for 30 years, it's not just something that just popped up. And, one reviewer made a mention that, that he's got onto it because of Elvis, becoming really popular since the movie came out. But that's not true, because Gronik was working on it for 30 years when he got all the documents he has. Him and his wife went through all those documents. So I still going to approach it as feeling that I'm going to approach it with an open mind. That's all I can say. But I guess my question is, if you've been along the ride here about Parker, what are your thoughts about Parker now that we're at this point? Are they worse thoughts? Are they, you feel a little bit better about some of the good he did do? Do you look at him like I kind of do now, as a bit of a reptile, as a bit of a snake in the grass? Do you think that somewhere along the line that the guy really cared about Elvis? We talked about some of the times when, that it was mentioned in one of the books. I think it was this book, that he was jealous about Elvis, that he didn't want him around women. So there's always been for years I've read certain things, heard certain things, that there was kind of a inclination that Parker really leaned it towards guys, because of people like Tom Diskin and Ed Bonja, and the word came, Marie's family, his first wife's family, made comments that his wife had said that they never had sex. That he wasn't. He was, what do they call it? He was
asexual.
Yeah. Christy Marie Parker was the ultimate manipulator in order to snow Gronik the way he has. There's no doubt about him being a manipulator. None whatsoever. Do you think Elvis just stayed with him because he was loyal? Would that be the only reason Elvis stayed with him? Because we know Elvis was a loyal person. Did he feel like he owed it to Parker because Parker did? You can't deny that Parker made him in the 50s, made him who he was. But you also can't deny that he worked everything he could to destroy that in the 60s. Parker made comments. He didn't want Elvis to even sing anymore, to go and do concerts and all that. But, geez, would that piss off a lot of fans? A full paragraph from Careless Love has been copied and pasted into his new book. But is there a reference to it in the back in the bibliography? The thing I know that he's made, he's even said it in some of the interviews, that he references back to his books that he wrote before. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If it's a bad thing if he doesn't reference it and say, what I wrote, if there is a little footnote thing there saying this is from his book, which he doesn't have to do because he's the one that has the copyrights on it. But everybody that does research on any kind of book always gets their reference from other books or other people. But yeah, as long as he's not just repeating what he wrote all together in both books, I don't know how to take that, Kirsty. But I know. Yeah, I heard that. I don't know what did Brent say there. He said, "Let me go back." We get so many comments on this. I love it. It was a star game if I'd given Parker 50. But Parker, I don't know why people keep saying that. He didn't get 50% until fully until 73. He got some of the aspects went up to 50% in 67. But from 55 until 67, he only got 25%. The only thing he got 50% off was merchandising, which was a separate agreement and partnership with Elvis, which a lot of people do that. And 25%, though the standard back then was maybe 10 to 15, but you also got the factor in the fact that the other people that managed other people for 10 to 15% had 2, 3, 4, 5 different clients, where Parker only had one 24/7. He was, so I think on that aspect of it, Elvis got a deal. The problem is the wheeling dealing outside that contract that Parker was doing that Elvis never knew about. So, anyway, so Elvis never agreed to 50% in the beginning. It was 25%. And by the time 67 rolled around and in 73, it was a situation where he needed money to pay for the divorce. And 67, he agreed to it, to the situation. But Parker was in a bind for money himself. He had gambling debts. I just, whatever they say, this is my opinion about Parker from the 60s on. I don't really think he ever really cared for Elvis that much. I think he was sad and heartbroken about Elvis dying because the cash register shut down. And so that's why he turned around and got Vernon at his weakest moment. And of course, his silent partner along the line, I believe, involved in this is, of course, Priscilla. Yeah, Olga, I'm the same way. There's so many things in this book that we discussed that just blew. How many times, Cam, while we were reading this, did we just kind of stop and go, what? There were so many different things that just like, the deal that the manipulation to get Elvis into the army, that pissed me off. Other things, yeah, I'm with you, Olga. It's just,
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion of him, kind of, and I've said this before. Excuse me. My opinion of him is not going to change whether Goranic's book comes out or not.
I don't think so either. I just want some answers for certain things.
And unfortunately, that's like you said earlier. Unfortunately, that's going to be a bullet that Goranic's going to have to take.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's hoping to change the villainesque opinion that most of us have of him, he's going to be sorely disappointed.
Well, the question I have that about with Goronick is, why would he purposely slant it on favor of Parker? Why would he do that? He's not going to gain anything from it.
No.
He's going to, in fact, piss off a lot
If
of people.
anything, he's gonna lose a lot more
Yeah, it's
fans
going to
from.
hurt him. Now, people say that he snowed Gronick. Well, he may have snowed Gronick in a lot of things, but I don't think Gronick's that stupid either.
No.
You know, um, the books that were written by McDonald and the story with Bonja, they were firsthand experience. But I also feel that on their side, they're going to really be slanted to protect Parker. So they're not going to tell it's like, they're not, they were too close. McDonald was like an adopted son. Bonja was a relative. His family, knew Parker back, before he even got started. So there was a friendship there. So anything they've done, I mean, they were nice. That was a nice video we saw with Bonja, but he wasn't the video wasn't a tell-all. It was a story about how he worked for Elvis, and he had some really good video clips in it and everything. Hold on a second, I got to get some water.
Kirsty and Tracy have good points here. I agree 100% with Kirsty. Parker screwed Elvis while he was alive, and Parker screwed him since his death. Period.
Yeah, I
And
saw that. You're right.
Tracy has, from the other side of the fence, which I also agree with, that most people, in my opinion, also forget. Other artists kept better control of their career or money. Elvis should have been asking around for guidance. He was a grown man and needed to take responsibility.
Yeah, anybody that sits there and says that, and I've seen some that are like defending, they don't ever, for example, well, with Parker, they want to give 100% blame to Parker. Well, Parker's got a lot of the blame, and he knew he had clay in his hand that he could mold to do whatever he wanted with, because he knew Elvis would be loyal. But Parker also was devious in the aspect that, he kept all these receipts that should have been getting paid back to him if all of them were legit, but it should have been expense reported to Elvis to pay as time goes by. But this thing built up to millions of dollars. And then anytime that Elvis would threaten, I don't know how many times he threatened to fire him, I have no clue. I know he did it at least one time, and it wasn't on stage from what I understand. But anyway, I don't know about that. But anyway, he had that as a tool. Now, you fire me, here's the bill right here. This is what you owe me now, right now. He always held that over Elvis's head. And he's got something else over Elvis's head that would ruin his career and his reputation. I don't think so.
Satnin has a point that I've made previously too. Always wish that Elvis had listened to Marty Lacker about investing his money. Vernon totally messed up with not listening to Marty. 100%.
Yeah, Vernon was the worst person to put in charge of his finances. It may be different. It was just a small business, and they were doing stuff, and Vernon probably could have handled it, but Vernon couldn't handle that kind of volume. No way. He wasn't.
No way.
I'm not going to say he was stupid. He wasn't stupid. Vernon wasn't an idiot, but he was just uneducated in that form of.
He wasn't versed enough in the business to know the pitfalls.
But Elvis could have got anybody out there reliable. All he had to do was pick up the phone and call Frank Sinatra. Hey, listen, I need a good financial advisor, or anybody, and Margaret, anybody that knows good, that you could trust to say, hey, listen,
Sammy Davis.
Listen, because they would have been able to keep it private. We know Anne Margaret would have kept everything private, or Frank Sinatra would, or there's several other people that Elvis could have gone to and say, listen, I'm getting rid of the Colonel. I've had enough. He's cheated me and all that. And I need a good financial advisor, because the person that's doing it now is not capable of handling that kind of volume. And I'm going to go broke if I don't do something. They would have had something, or even Steve Bender, or the other guy that wanted Jerry Weintraub. Yeah, any of them. He had them what was that one comment where Sonny West said he had the world at the palm of his hand? and he could have done anything he wanted to do and gotten anybody to help him, and he didn't do it.
I think Elvis just got to the point too, I think naively also that Elvis thought, well, the money's gonna keep rolling in.
I
I don't have to worry about investing my money because, like he said, Dad, don't worry. And don't worry about me buying a ranch, or if the money's running low, I'll just go into and make more.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing about having a financial advisor. Elvis doesn't have to worry about it. If you got an advisor that's handling your money, and you say, "Listen, I need you to handle my money. I want you to do my books. I want you to look at things to invest in. But when I need money, you're going to give it to me." And he can go out and buy whatever he wants because you got a financial advisor that's doing something for you. You're going to have the money to do what Elvis always wanted to do, but you're also going to have a bank full of money because number one, Parker's not taking it anymore.
Here's another possibility, and I might be wrong, and if I am, share with me. Maybe one of the reasons why he never got a financial advisor was because he felt that he didn't want anyone telling him how to spend his money.
Well, that's the thing. Elvis could have gotten a financial advisor. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, throw Parker out of the picture. He's gone. All right. Elvis's income would have at least tripled. And I'll tell you why. Number one, he could do the movies he wanted from that point forward. He would have that because he wouldn't have Parker barking over his head. No. Elvis would have done it. He would, because he could have interviewed all the financial advisors and just tell them, he would be paying him. He could have had a financial advisor, a new manager, and they would have both cost less than he was paying Parker. Flat out.
Yeah. There we go. Brent has another point of perspective we can throw into this argument. Maybe he didn't want to hurt his father's feelings by telling his father he can't do it.
Well, here's what I think about. Here's my answer to that. You don't have to throw him out completely. This financial advisor handles all this, but you say to Vernon, I need you to handle all the home issues. You need to take care of the finances for the house, make sure it's being maintained properly, all that. He doesn't have to worry about the concerts and all that. Now Vernon's still a part of it. And I can tell you, I think Vernon would have welcomed that kind of, because I think Vernon was a nervous freaking wreck.
All the time.
Yeah. Because of all the money going out. Well, guess what? He doesn't have to look at it anymore. He doesn't have to worry about it. But now Elvis says, Dad, I want you to make sure, I want you to handle all my personal finances here around the house.
Stuff.
And then the financial handles all the business stuff. Now he's only having to do 10% of 15, let's say 20% of what he was doing before. And he's not worrying anymore because he sees the money. He knows the money's coming in. Elvis is happier. Elvis is touring the world.
His stress load is almost 3/4 less. Yes, there's money being put away for his old age. Yeah, it would have been a win-win situation all around.
You're right. There's so many factors that factor into what Elvis was going through after the army, because I can't say I know that. I can't get into Elvis's head in the relationship that he had with his mother. All that I know that it was probably one of the most, how do you put it? Probably one of the closest relationships a mother. That's not even right either. But it was, it was. I don't think too many people would have had more of a devastating reaction to losing their mother. But I wasn't an only son, so I never had that kind of relationship with my mother, and that's not a fault. I had a great relationship with my mother, but I had 3 brothers that also got that same amount of love too. Elvis got everything. Elvis was the world, completely around the world, and his mother was the world to him. He was her advisor. She was his advisor. She was his support. She was his protector. Vernon was never any of those.
No, he yes sir, no sir, 3 bucks, full sir, all the way.
Yeah. Interesting. What time is it? Oh, so we got 1 hour before inside the studio was breaking count. Got some funny shit there today. Well, I think I understand where everybody's at this point with what we've discussed. Now here's the other question. Outside of this book and this topic. So when we started doing this at the beginning, when I got into the book chats, it was all a trial at the beginning on Sundays, and then we spread it out to today for Saturdays. And my objective was what we've done. I think I've achieved the objective that I wanted to do. And then at the end of the book, like we're doing now, discuss where we're at, what we were at before, and where we're at now. And then we'll just do that one more time after we do Garanic's book. And then we're going to start all over, but it's going to be a lot shorter with the Priscilla book. Because that's just going to be, I think we've all got the same freaking opinion about Priscilla. But what I want to do is I want to expose the bullshit. The differences. I mean, all I got to do is pop up a video for 5 minutes, and we're gonna hear a different. Next thing you know, Lisa was out. Was up in it was in Memphis flying to Lisa Marie somewhere. But anyway, my question is this: have you all enjoyed this to the point where we continue doing it with other books? Because I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. And I think everybody else does too. We go off on different subjects, but I love that's what I like about doing this. I repeat it over and over again because I just want everybody to know that
Speaking of going,
look so forward to this.
Speaking of going off on other subjects,
What's that?
don't you see the comment on the screen?
Susan, was that rudder or oh my God. We can.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Oh, well, more like this.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Yeah, wait, the Barry White voice is coming, guys.
Oh, no. Somebody say something. Oh, boy. Here we go. I love it. Hello. Oops, we lost her.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear her. She can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Wow. Why can't we hear her? Usually you don't have a problem.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
I accidentally hit the mute with my thumb. I'm sorry.
Oh, my soul.
That's what I was
Hi,
looking at.
Rick. Hi, Cam.
Hey, so what do you think of the discussion today?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
You excited?
Oh, I am. That I am.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's getting nerve-wracking now. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear the stories and see everything. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I just wanted to say, hey, thanks for coordinating the flowers and to everybody that donated. Really much appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I enjoy doing it. I've got the time to do it, and you guys all working, but it was exciting. I was glad to do it. I'll tell you one thing though, that's Susan lady, she's just one slow. Yeah. Elvis week? I didn't know it was Elvis week already.
Yeah,
Oh my
she was
God.
so nice and she was so nice when I talked to her and everything.
Oh,
So
yeah. She was very helpful, and
yeah,
when I told her what I wanted to do and all that, she goes, "Yeah, we can do that. We can do that and that." The
yeah,
flowers do have to come out of they do all the Elvis stuff like this out of their corporate office there, which is not very far. It's just right down the road.
no,
So
no, and I'm gonna go down there probably Monday or probably Tuesday morning. I'm gonna drive down to the flower shop because I know exactly where it's at. So I'm gonna go and check in with them and just make sure everything's looking okay.
yeah, I'm going to order once we choose the picture tomorrow. I'm going to order the picture it's at Kiko's and FedEx. It's right down the street from Graceland, and
Good.
it's 15 by 15. So once I get it ordered, they'll print it, and then hopefully they'll have it ready so that you could go down and take that with you. And the
Okay.
same thing with the card, the sign that's going to go right below the flowers that says the donors, and then of course Elvis-A-Z and Elvis for the record.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
so
Yeah.
that'll be nice. So
Okay.
it's a good arrangement. It's going to look really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about that, and like I said, I'll go check on that. I'll get there like Monday afternoon.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
hoping to get there around 1 o'clock, but I've got to go to the tattoo shop first over on Union Street and go see my guy.
There you go.
So I'm gonna get that fresh ink put on me. So I'm
Yeah.
stoked about that.
Yeah. You'll have to snap a shot of it and send it to us.
Well, I told Deborah because she's gonna be there. I said maybe she can videotape it, but what
Ooh.
my arm looks like before and when it gets done.
Yeah.
With my Elvis on my arm. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So, but I definitely will get over there. And like I said, I'll keep contact with you and kind of let you know what's going on and how
Yeah.
things are going.
That's cool. Yeah, we're excited about it, and we're gonna do a broadcast. I think they're gonna stream it, but we're gonna do a broadcast live, do a chat, and watch the vigil.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So yeah,
that'd be nice.
on the
Yeah.
15th, and what and then whatever they're streaming on the 16th, we're gonna go live with that, and I think Rich is gonna simulcast it with us. We're gonna go live at the same time.
Nice. That'd be nice. Yeah. And I'll try to do whatever I can do because
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down like when they start to get close to opening up the gate to do that. I'm not getting in line for that because I'm not waiting there for 4 and 5 hours.
Right.
But I'm gonna go down because I'm in walking distance from the hotel. So I'm gonna get some video and just kind of see what's happening, hang out, and then I'm gonna go down a little later once that line works through some.
Yeah.
Because there's no bathrooms when you're standing around there waiting to go in.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what my friends told me. And they said, well, you like to drink. I said, yeah, I know I can't do that.
Yeah. No.
That's a long wait.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, because they start lining up in the early afternoon, and the doors, I think the gates open up at about 8 o'clock that night.
Wow.
So it's a good 4 or 5 hours you're out there waiting.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to get up. I don't need to be front row. That's okay.
Right.
But I can go down and videotape, just kind of mingle, see what's happening.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Kind of good
Yeah.
stuff.
But like I said, you're running the show, so whenever you feel like letting me know, I'll pop something up, or if you feel like doing something live real quick, we'll just 1 minute or 2 minute or whatever you're doing, just I'll just go online.
Yeah, remember when I mentioned to you that John Daly was going to have something like almost every day at the hotel where I'm at?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's also going to have some guests there too.
Ooh.
I think maybe Marty Lacker's daughters.
Ooh, cool.
Okay, the Lackers, and I think Natalia, her mom was in the movie with Elvis in Paradise Hawaiian Style.
Oh, you're talking about Lee? Yeah, Suzanne Lee's daughter.
Lee, her daughter. Yeah, she's friends with John Daly.
Oh wow.
So I think she's gonna be there too. So there's gonna be a lot just going on in that general area.
You're gonna be one busy person.
Oh my God, I cannot wait,
Yeah.
Rick. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the zone. You know what I mean? Totally in my zone.
Yeah, we're all excited for you. I talk about it to Cam. I said I bet she's down to minutes and hours now. Days, minutes, and hours.
Oh, I was running around after work yesterday morning to get everything on my list that I needed for the
Yeah.
trip. So I was up like 17, 18 hours
Oh, wow.
yesterday.
Wow.
So today I'm meal prepping for the week because this is my last week of work. I've got my suitcase out and I got a pile of clothes. Now I got to go try on my outfits and figure
Yeah.
out what I really want to take.
Right.
So that's today's agenda.
Well, cool. I'm glad you finally got some free time to do it too. So that's good.
Yeah.
I know you were
because
working
next
hard.
Sunday next Sunday we're leaving. We're leaving a day early because
Cool.
we're not doing that whole drive all the way down.
No.
I get so burned out after
Yeah.
13 hours in a car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know about
yeah.
that.
It's a
Cool.
long drive. Yeah.
Cool.
You
I'm
know.
excited.
Yeah, so and I'll be checking in. I'll probably be listening in on Sunday show in the car.
Okay.
Deborah gets off work at 3:00. So
Okay.
I'm leaving my house at 2, driving to Toledo, Ohio, picking her up, and then we're headed to Louisville. That's our destination.
Oh, okay, cool. Louisville's a nice town. I've been there
Yep.
many times.
Yeah, that's where we're spending the night because that's like the halfway point.
Yeah.
And then get up early Monday morning, get our coffee and our mojo going, and then it's off to Memphis.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy for you, man. It's
I
good.
know it.
But cool. Well, so what do you think about our? I'm ending the book that we've done. I think we pretty much flogged the horse as long as we could, and but I just kind of wanted to get everybody's thoughts about where they're at based upon what we've talked about. And I think the majority of us are even more so to the negative side about Parker.
Yeah, well, I hope you still continue to do the books.
We will.
I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
need to be explored. I mean, because a lot of the books, I see a lot of the subscribers. You guys are like some serious Elvis fans. You guys have read so much and know so much.
Yeah.
So I pick up a lot from you guys, and then go through different things. So I
It's
think
vice
we need to do
versa.
the
We pick up
books.
so much ourselves too.
Yeah, and then even just like the music with the box set, because I think I put a question up there, like somebody who didn't have any Elvis music, where the hell would you start? What's the best, direction
Yeah.
to go in?
That's a good point.
collect,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you guys are all seasoned. You and Brent, you guys are seasoned into the music
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Yeah. That's why I do
I
these.
don't even know where to start.
Yeah. If I tell you what, if I had never had that one therapist, I probably would have never done this.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that said, he told me, he says, you ought to do a reaction channel. And I told him I can't do one. I said, how do I react to something I've heard thousands of times, And he said,
Yeah.
no, because he knew my background. He said, no, man,
Yeah.
what you ought to do is, deep dive into it, and do, so it
Yeah.
took me about a month to really figure out, all right, I'll give it a shot, and I've had a blast.
Yeah.
And I've
well,
met
it's
so many
interaction.
people. Yeah.
Where else can we go that we can actually get into these conversations about Elvis? Most people that know me, they're literally like look at me like I'm kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But when I get into my Elvis mode at work, they're all hearing it. When I'm playing Elvis, they're all hearing it.
And no
they
drama.
Don't complain.
No drama.
And,
Yeah.
No. But Parker, I'm sorry, Rick. I mean, those few chapters you read. Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know what I wanted. I wanted to scream.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
do. Cam and I talk about it after the show sometimes. It's just like, it's this whole 2 months of talking about him have really changed my perspective of him. And it's not on the good side, I still think
No.
I take out the 50s part. He did some Louis Lane in there, but if it wasn't for that, he would have never been Elvis. But he kind of ruins that.
I think when he saw Elvis' genuine honesty and the good person he was, he just zeroed in on it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
and
was
he took
prey.
advantage, I think, every way he could.
Mm-hmm.
And and took advantage probably of Elvis's family. He knew who he can work on, break down, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then Elvis is not being very confrontational or
No.
standing up for himself, feeling strong about himself. It might have been different if his mama lived. Miss Gladys was alive.
See, I think the same thing too.
Yeah, I think if Miss Gladys was alive, he wouldn't have been around. You know what I mean?
I could
Because she
picture
had
her
that
going to
strength.
say, you know what? You need to get rid of that guy.
Yeah,
and and he would have listened to her.
I
I
think
think
so
he would have.
too. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Vernon. I think Vernon did the best he could, but I also think Vernon's whole escapade hooking up with Dee and Dee Stanley and that. Well, for Elvis, as if that was me and that was my father, as much as I loved my mom, that would have just brought me down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love your dad, but that you would have lost something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Could he really count on him?
Yeah.
That had to be terrible, a terrible, slap in the face to him. Like, geez,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The shame is, just the shame about it is you sit there and you just wish you could go back there and say, hey, listen. But,
I know. It is what it is, and I guess it was supposed to be the way it was supposed to be, huh?
yeah, but you know what? Good, bad, or ugly, it helps us to understand the whole everything too.
Yeah.
It just helps me to understand some of the things that, and all, there's a lot of things we'll never understand. Well,
No.
that's the one thing about Elvis. He never got the opportunity to write his own book.
No. And sometimes too, Rick, we can be our own worst enemy.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened with him.
Yeah. He ended up becoming
loyal
his
to
own
a
worst
fault.
enemy.
Yep.
And I still love Elvis. I don't care what the hell they say. I don't care what anybody says or what they want to bring out. I'm always going to love him.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. You can't say anything about Elvis that would make me turn against him ever.
Exactly. He changed
man.
the world. He changed the world.
Yeah, he did.
So,
nobody's could compare to him ever.
Exactly. He's a global icon for life.
Yeah.
For life. Okay. Well,
all right. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. I'm glad you got through. It's good to talk to you. And,
I'm going to be listening into you today because I'm home. I'm cleaning, meal prepping, and doing my suitcase, packing my clothes. So I'm going to be back and forth. All right.
All right. We got the watch tonight, so we'll.
All right.
Anyways, all right. Have a good one. Take care.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too, darling. Have a good one. Bye bye. All right. So, Cam's back. I saw the one comment. The book. I don't know how to say this about the Alana Nash's book. I don't have much respect for Alana Nash because I think she's an Albert Goldman, a Steve Dunleavy type of writer, sensationalism and all that. I think she took a lot of things that were said to her and twisted them to make a good story or used them to her advantage. Did people like Billy Arnold make those remarks? Well, they've admitted they have. They're the ones that got to answer to it. But in my perspective, the only word that you said in that I wouldn't agree with, Rockstar, is using it as the Bible to Elvis. I disagree with that, calling it as a Bible. I mean, you like the book and everything. I respect anybody's opinion for what they like and dislike. But in my opinion is I would never refer to that as the Bible in Elvis ever. Good, bad, or ugly with Goralnik. I don't think anybody's ever written a more comprehensive biography about Elvis. I'm hoping I'm not going to be disappointed with the one with the Colonel. I don't think I'll be disappointed, but I'll probably be, I don't know.
I'm going to go out here on a limb and say that it might change with his book, but at this point, I think I'm going to be indifferent either way.
Yeah, if he favors Parker a lot of stuff, I don't think there's a lot he can say that's going to change how I feel now. But I think he's going to give me a lot of answers for stuff. Yeah. I think, I'll be honest with you, the biggest thing I want to see in that book are the documents. The documents that nobody's ever seen before tell this book. So that's going to be kind of cute. It's new stuff. It's new stuff to see. 50 some years, 70, almost 50 years since he died. 48 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah, see that. Yeah, I know. I've got the book here, and I kind of flipped. I've never read it completely through. I just kind of every once in a while I'll pick it up and read like 10, 20 pages and just go through it. I'll put it down and feel like I got to vomit, because just some of the stuff, it's the way she presents it. And plus, too, it's the way she presents herself. She presents herself as just as arrogant, condescending. And for her to have a big, huge poster of Albert Goldman's book on her back wall, it tells you a lot. Because that's one guy that is just a piece of trash of a writer. He has attacked everybody he's ever written about. John Lennon, I think Jimi Hendrix was one. But anyway, but that's
He's
if you like the book, I mean that people like that stuff, and that's fine.
he's what the English would call a real twat.
A real what?
Twat.
Albert Goldman. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's so I read most everybody's comments, so seems to be that most everybody really enjoys doing these books. So we will continue. I look forward to them. I think by the end of the year we'll be done with all the Colonel stuff and the big tell-alls. Colonel, I'm washing my hands clean of Priscilla after we do her book, because for those of you who just joined in and don't know what my plan is, hold on a second. Man, I've done a lot of talking today, haven't I? Maybe I should shut up. Let somebody else talk. So, Gronik's book is supposed to release at midnight, Tuesday morning, Monday night. That's the 5th. And based upon the fact that the box set was released at midnight Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to trust the fact that that's the same thing that's going to happen with the book being released at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Because I looked it up and they said that sometimes they go at 9. They go and they wait until Pacific Standard Time reaches midnight, which is 3 a.m. for us. But I'm trusting the fact that it's going to be released at midnight. I know the other books that I got from them released at midnight because I'm getting the Kindle version. The Kindle, Gronik's Kindle audio, and the hard copy. So I'm going to go live that time. We go live on Tuesdays. What's funny, you got so.
Yeah, I'm reading the comment.
Rick, you'll need to bury yourself in the book. It's 700 pages to get a review. That's well, half the book are documents. So the review I'm going to do is on the narrative. The documents. So basically, there's supposed to be 300 pages of documents. So the narrative isn't the whole 700 pages. So I read Lisa Marie's book, which was 250 pages, I think it was, something like that. I read that in about 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours. And I was in the hospital doing it. And I did it listening to the audiobook and watching it on Kindle at the same time. But what I'm doing to go live is I'm going to just I want to jump back to the document pages and kind of look at those. I got to be real careful about this because I don't really want to, now that I'm sitting here, I don't want to be reading the book and all that because it's a new book and I'll be hit with a copyright strike. So I think more or less it's going to be, oh, look, the book's out. And we're going to just kind of look at it and we'll flip through it and look at some stuff, and, a few quotes and all that. So it just kind of highlights some stuff. I want to look at the chapter names that are kind of give us a reference to what the topics are going to be. And then I'll read it and then we'll review it on Saturday on our book chat. And we'll probably review it over 2, maybe 3 book chats during that period of time. And then the Colonel's done. Finished. He is buried. And then we go on to Priscilla. A little Barry White here with Priscilla. Stupid. You there, Kim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it looked like your screen froze. Anyway, I'm gonna after that, what I'll do is each time on the book chat, like today at the end or sometime during the show, I'll just put up a poll of 3 or 4 books that are coming out or we've got to come new or that I have that I'll let you all vote on and we'll go on to next. Any book. I've got tons and tons of books. I think I've got like 250, 300 on PDF. I got at least 150 sitting here on my shelves. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I would kind of like lighten it up. I want to kind of lighten it up and be it'll be more positive on one of the next books, just to kind of, a little kind of like the pill they gave me. I keep thinking about a stupid pill. I was thinking about reviewing Steve Bender's book on the '68 special that came out a couple of years ago. That'd be it's just a story about the special. Just that would only be that would only be like a one chat, and just do sitting right there. So we just do a few of those, and then whatever books you guys want to do, suggest them. But we'll do a poll. Well, we got to come up with a book poll.
Oh, I love Rich, man. That phrase is never gonna die on this channel, I tell you.
Yeah, poll is kind of a. It's kind of a. It used to be a good, it used to be something that never had. Now it's a word every time you say it. You got to be careful. It's like shorts. Poles and shorts. I can't say them anymore without it being like.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling.
Okay, I'm lost here.
Yeah, I got to figure out where I'm at here. Tracy. Is Brent still with us? I might have chased Brent off. Oh, my typing's horrible. Chilling in Canada is still with us. Susan's still with us. Chilling. I'm wearing some Elvis-inspired clothes. Very cool. Yeah. I read every Susan's again. I'm ready to bury myself into that book. All right, guys. It's we got 40 minutes till the inside the studio. Now, I haven't put the announcement out yet. It's going to come out here a little bit, but we're scheduled for our watch party at 5 today, Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be another one of the definitive Elvis set, and it's the Army years. So, and then actually, it comes out to perfect timing. Then the next week, it'll be the Priscilla years, Elvis and Priscilla. Ooh. Revelations was not like Albert Goldman's. He would start a story and then finish with his prevented spin. I read it 4 times to break it down. You can't complete the book. How can you compare? Compare it to what? I'm not sure I understand what you're doing.
Oh,
Revelations was, huh? Well, I'm missing the point on the Revelations. Revelation was not like Albert. You're talking about Alana Nash's book? I'm not sure what she means. What he means. Sorry, Rockstar. I probably missed out on part of the conversation. Inappropriate comment in mixed company. Did I say something wrong?
I was trying to find that too. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, we're very careful about. We got Alana's book. Yeah. Well, I don't compare them as far as. I put them in the same category. I just think I think Atlanta is a sensationalist. I think I think she's manipulated sayings, I should say. Albert Goldman was just his book is more a novel than a nonfiction biography. Yes, conversation went somewhere else.
I didn't see anything in the comments. Did you?
Kirsty Marie, I think I'll skip the Priscilla. You know what? I'm going to pre-watch it, but we may skip it. Let me tell you. You know what? You guys are here. Let me tell you what the titles are. Here, watch party videos. Okay, so we've got today. We're doing the Army years. We have. I don't think we're going to be able to. What? So we got the Army years, which we're going to do today. So the next. Oh, actually, we could do part 8. I think that would be good. So after Army years is Elvis and Priscilla. I don't think anybody probably won't want to watch that. Then we got the Memphis Mafia. And then the next one is the Vegas, the comeback. The story will be about, the movie will be about the 68 special. So maybe I'll just jump on down to part 8. And then the next one after that is the Vegas years. Then the intimate loves of Elvis. So I'll do that. I'll skip out on Priscilla's books because we're going to have enough of her. Rick, to pop on your YouTube channel, do I need a link to get on? To pop on? You mean what we're on right now? Or yeah, you'll need a link to get to my channel. Which one you're looking for? To what we're on now? Okay, well, you know what? Everybody let me know what I'll do a consensus. I'd rather you guys tell me. Lori would like to see the Priscilla years. And so y'all let me know if you want me to continue in the order that this series is. And if you don't like it, you guys could, you could just bow out. I don't, necessarily expect everybody to like everything we're playing. The one we had Tuesday night was really a good one. Yes, I do. I have a copy of that. Being Elvis. That's a good book. I've got it in PDF and I got it in hard copy. We got okay, let me see if I can get this. Boom. Let me get this to her. Oh, yeah, she's probably looking for the other one. Let me know which link you're looking for, Olga. I'm not for sure which link, but yeah, I can send you the link. If you're looking for the one for tonight, I'm sending out a notification with the link in it. But I'll just let me know which link you're looking for. I think we need to cover the Priscilla years as part of the book. All right, so we'll do that. We'll just continue on with the way it is, and then because we've got like 10 more chapters for it. That's a great book, Tracy. I've got so many books here I've never read, but I've always looked at them and I thought that'd be probably interesting. What about doing an episode on the Elvis years chapters of her book? Of whose book? Oh, Priscilla? Okay, I'm getting. You know what they're talking about, Cam?
No idea. The chats are so random, it's jumping all over the place. It's hard to follow.
Yeah, I've been. Oh, Lisa Murray's book. Okay.
Yeah, they want us to do Lisa's book at some stage too.
Well, I tell you what, when we finish this, because we're going to do Lisa Marie's book, and we're going to do the two Priscilla books before her new book comes out. So we'll start off with Lisa's book first, and then we'll do the two Priscilla books. Well, I'm going to read Elvis and Me, and then we'll do the new book, and we'll do a comparison with all three. Where her contradictions are, which, based on what I've seen lately, there's going to be a shitload of contradictions,
Contradiction.
All right. Well, listen, it's in 30 minutes
We need
inside
to
the
wrap it
studio,
up
so we
because
need to go because I got to grab something to eat and I got to get ready so I can get in the chat. Join us there if you get a chance because it's a great one. I'll be sending during that. I'm going to be sending out the notification for the watch party. It'll have the link for it in there. Olga, if you're still listening and if you just want to message me what link you're looking for, I'll make sure you get it. I'll get it to you. Everybody, thank you. This has been fun today. We had a nice crowd. Awesome discussion. I can't even tell you how many comments flew by, and it's so hard for me to monitor them. So I really sorry when I miss them. When I miss your comments and I try to catch up with you, and I feel lost when I step into the middle of a conversation. But the chats are great. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love you guys. You guys are a great support team. We got a great community, and so we'll see you, at one of the next one or both of them, 2:00 at Insight. Take care, everybody. Love you guys.
Right, guys.